This is Dolynny TV, friends. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Postgame coverage here on the channel. The Edmonton Oilers, they defeat the Ottawa Senators. Can you believe that? We close out this road trip, starting with a win, closing with a win, and everything in between and straight through was just not good from the Edmonton Oilers. How can you say that after winning? Well, quite simply, we'll get into it in tonight's post-game edition. Thank you for being aboard. Of course, friends, if you are new to the channel here, would love to have you hit that subscribe button on Dolynny TV. Normally don't open every video like this, but it's been a weird road trip, and I'm ready to dive into it. So, what do we know? A 3-2 overtime victory over top of the Ottawa Senators, a team that, for the most part this year, I think coming into the game, they were averaging like something 5 goals against on average per game. We're bad. Not that bad. Not as bad as the Calgary Flames either. Smile. It's not all bad. But yeah, so basically the Ottawa Senators, right? They straight up can't buy a save. They're struggling, and they've had some interesting games. Again, if you caught that game against Buffalo that I did, wow, that was wild. Just kind of is what it is. Tonight, a little bit more of a tamer game. The Oilers, for the 8th time this season, 6th time, 7th time, 12th time, whatever it feels like at this point, fail to score more than 3 goals. Welcome to it. It's just kind of where we are. But win a hockey game. All right, 3rd time we've done that this year. Now 3-1 on the year. Good to go. And Stuart Skinner, 900 save percentage. All right. We're talking, we're working here. Connor McDavid. Man, what do we know about that guy? Well, everybody's been like, man, this guy's terrible. Leading the team in points to this point, mind you. And then he scores on the power play finally tonight. A good little classic Connor McDavid goal. We'll take it. It's awesome. It's great. Awesome to see. And obviously, now everybody can shut up about him not scoring. Except for the expectation is he should have 5 already because he's passed off or looked off too many shots. No matter how you fit on that argument, I don't really care. He scored the goal. We won a game. Let's get down to the business of winning lots of games. Okay, that's where the storyline has to be here for a little bit. Okay, we win against the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday. I was going to say against the Ottawa Senators tonight, but that doesn't fit what I'm going at. The Montreal Canadiens on Thursday, you win against them. Man, things look okay again. Right? This is the ups and downs of the early season. You score 4, only allow 1 against Montreal, and suddenly things start turning in a very positive manner. A rosy light for the Edmonton Oilers once again. We like that. That's great. That's awesome. I want that to happen. Again, we're facing the Montreal Canadiens. If you know anything about this channel, you know that I don't very well view those games as winnable. So, you got to look at today's game and look at how many positives there were. Not many. Let's take, for instance, a puck all day Stuart Skinner should have had on goal number 2. I mean, a shot from the point. Like, again, just stop the puck. The fact that he looks so baffled, and I mean, watching it on the TV was absolutely unbelievable to sit there and see, wait, that actually just went in. It's 2-2, I guess, and immediately you cause your coach to call a timeout. I mean, this is the hard part. You got to start having Skinner make the hard saves at some point here. But I don't want to harp too much on that. Again, we won. Let's not be negative. I'll come back to that in a minute. But again, when you're getting to the positives, it's tough. Because, yeah, sure, I guess Ike Howard scores his first goal. That's great. We won. Hey, celebration time. You take this game out of context of what was a 5-game road trip. Sloppy, as you see in the title, at best, I should phrase it actually, for the Oilers. Ends 2-3. I think there's been a lot made on social media already tonight. This is the benefit of doing this a little bit delayed after going out for dinner. Is sloppy at best. Everybody's, sloppy road trip ends 2-3. It's okay. Sloppy at best. The Oilers were, I guess to say, at their typical worst early in the season on this road trip. Not scoring goals, looking off shots, overpassing, overthinking, defensive miscues and gaffes, goaltending on certain shots that are suspect, and all in all, just I don't think outside of, I know it's Henrique's 1,000th game tonight. I know it's Ike Howard's first career goal. I know Connor McDavid finally scored to open the season at this juncture. And, by the way, Bouchard got his first point of the season on the power play. I know there's some things to take away, and Skinner had a .900 save percentage. It's not like there weren't good things in the game, but all the bad things in the game just absolutely unraveled the Oilers here throughout this road trip, and somehow they managed to win the game today against Ottawa. Maybe in part because Jake Wallman comes back, scores the game-winning goal for you, but also the Ottawa Senators just aren't good because they can't stop a puck. I don't know. It was weird. I will give you this, because my opinion on the Oilers, when I watch a game without audio, as is the case at most major bars in Airdrie, versus watch a game with audio at home in a game similar to this, probably differs and swings vastly. You're missing context. I get that. But if you can look at the picture for as long as I have at this point and just not be impressed by it despite winning, I'm not being a hard critic. I think it's just like, let's get going here. And something that just, dawned on me here, looking at the picture, I'm making a little, I don't know if you understood where I was going with that Stuart Skinner thing or not, but let's get to it. I think very clearly the overreaction to that second goal against Skinner will be that he should have saved that no matter what. You got to look back and, go find the highlight clips anywhere you want. You got to look back at that highlight clip against Skinner for the second goal for Ottawa. There are two men for Ottawa standing top of the crease, side of the crease, wherever kind of positioned, inside both Brett Kulak and Ty Emberson. Yeah, it's fun in games to always blame Skinner, but some point we got to get serious here. And actually, for the first time in, a stretch of games, October through about mid-January in the past 3 years, have defensemen box guys out and punish them for going to the front of the net in our zone. It is so damn frustrating as an Oilers fan, night in, night out, to get scored on the way we did. Because again, I know, as I, kind of showed you earlier in the video, the common reaction is Stu should have had that guaranteed. No matter what, that's his fault. But never do we ever, we always talk about, Bouchard turning over pucks, Nurse being lazy, Nurse on his stomach, whatever the case might be. I get that there's two guys we love to hate, but it's a six-man effort every single night. And at some point, this team has to get serious about the job in front of the net. And, I might get one comment when it happens out of 120 on a hot video. So tonight, that's why I wanted to make a point. I wanted, if you've stuck around this long, rile you up a little bit, get you in the comments section calling me an idiot, and then just to realize, wait, no, I did understand what was happening there, because so many people tend to miss that when it comes to the Oilers defense in front, specifically of Stuart Skinner. And then they're like, why do the Oilers play so much better in front of Pickard? We always win. Oh. Well, that's generally why. Because the guys somehow that night figure out to box guys out or clean up the mistakes or whatever other excuse you want to throw at the Edmonton Oilers defense. So this is where, again, like I said, this really does, this post-game, the whole thing comes down to not having the context of Jack and Louie to bring me along the whole time, because I don't know what you watched tonight with the audio, but I know what I watched tonight without the audio, and none of it was good. Yeah, Connor McDavid scores his opening goal of the season. Ike Howard scores another goal. Suddenly, it's 2-0, and the Oilers just stop doing anything from there. It's done. They score that 2-0 goal, and the game's going like this, and it just all of a sudden is like this right up until, and my buddy at the bar said it, the Oilers were all of a sudden tied 2-2 in that third period, and, it felt like we were down 3-2. It did. Chris Knobloch, actually, as an Oilers head coach, calls a reasonably timed timeout and stops the bleeding. Oilers, how many times have they been guilty of not doing that in the playoffs? But they stop the bleeding, call everybody in and just say, hey guys, Let's go. A little bit more effort, a little bit more attention to detail. We'll be fine. The problem is, outside of Jake Walman's shot in overtime, and there was a lot not to like about that first power play in overtime, is, how do you put it? How do you shake this down? Is the finer points of what makes the Oilers successful still weren't there, right? Like, yes, get back to just calm down, attention to detail. That's going to be fine. But we have guys that are 60, 50, 40. Like, we're talking big-time goal scorers on this team multiple times over, and we're still coming down Broadway 7 games into the season looking to pass with the goalie 15 feet away and a couple of corners to pick. And it's just truly frustrating from that perspective that, you know, a guy gets off the schneid and still wants to come down the middle and pass off. You watch a power play in overtime, pass the puck around 15 times, and in those 15 passes probably have about 5 good looks and still decide, nah, that guy's got something better going on. I'm going to go over there. It's just, I get that it's easy to be an armchair guy and, I would have done this, I would have done that, I would tell you, let's do this. But I don't get that say. And I know that it's easy to clown on that as well from a viewer perspective, I understand. But this is my struggle. From an Oilers fan perspective, we know what has not made this team successful night in, night out in the first 3 months of the season, the past 2 years, and through 7 games this year. And as my camera glitched, so my apologies. We're going too long here. But night in, night out, it just baffles me that at the start of a season, the Oilers still, and I mean still, have not figured out what makes them successful at the start of the season. They haven't figured out how to be successful at the start of the season. And they haven't figured out how to take that fan frustration where we know what they could be doing better and translate that into the game. Because again, and this is, again, this sloppy at best road trip, all 5 of these games, you look at the context in which the opponent played, and I mean, full credit to the Red Wings, full credit to the Islanders. I get it. It was okay. They did good. The Devils, I'm good. Mostly sour about the Connor Brown goal, but it's okay. But in the context, even of 2 games where you can credit the opponent, if you want to credit the Devils, I'm not going to make fun of you for it. But the wins, you won. So you're successful. I guess that's a moot point, right? Fair. But the losses were all winnable had the Oilers just done anything that makes them successful. And as much as everybody wants to say, well, the team's worse this year, that's what you said last year. That's what you said the year before when we started like this. The main characters are still the same. There is still a Draisaitl. There's still a McDavid. There's still a Nugent-Hopkins. There's no Hyman. Big admission. There's still an Ekholm. There's still a Bouchard. There's a Nurse. Skinner's still there. Right? So, in the context of the guys that can, on a dime, change the game, everything's still the same. There is no worse or better. Those guys are just older, and they're not 40, so it's fine. They're men, but they're not 40. So, you got to sit here. And after a sloppy at best 5-game road trip, as the Oilers, and there's a reason I am playing this up, because last year the loss to the Montreal Canadiens in November was not a good spot for me. Not at all. It was, and we'll talk about it. I will guarantee you I have a story for you as opposed to a post-game Thursday night should the Oilers lose live off the couch for obvious reasons, which we'll get to on Thursday. So, you have a road trip where, you know, all winnable games, you come away 2-3, and the way I would categorize it is sloppy at best. Not sloppy and we won 2 out of 5. No, sloppy at best and somehow managed 2 out of 5 because you beat the Rangers who took 18 years this season to score on home ice, and the Ottawa Senators, if a beach ball floated out of the stands towards any goaltender they have back there, it's going right through them. It's just like literally physically passing through them when the goal light's going on. So make it up as you will. It is what it is. And so you go into this game against the Montreal Canadiens, and the Oilers already aren't playing their best hockey. And like I said, the Montreal Canadiens game sent me on a journey last November. I will tell you that. Not a good time. But we got through it. But it's all avoidable here. And that's why I say there's a story attached to that. And we'll get to that when we eventually lose to Montreal on Thursday night. I guarantee you that. But it's all very avoidable, but just winning, which seems hard for the Oilers right now. That's what I'd have to say. It's truly baffling how bad this team's been in 5 straight games and somehow managed to be 2-3 in the road trip. And why am I complaining? I get it. Like a 2-3 road trip out east. Again, I think that's the expectation. Any average Oilers fan would have expected that going in. Other than the Oilers played so bad, despite the other teams winning 3 times, all 5 were winnable. Like there wasn't a game where if the Oilers tried 110 times, they'd never win that game. I mean, the New York Islanders game, you try a second time, just repeat it with Evan Bouchard making 2 less turnovers, and you probably win 4-2. It only takes 2 tries to win that game. The New Jersey Devils game, kind of a similar thing, really. I mean, maybe some other ideas, but maybe takes you 5 or 6 times to win that game on a coin flip. Okay, cool. The Detroit Red Wings game, yeah. That one's probably 20, 25. Yeah, what 25. But just come on, man. Like let's take whatever good we can salvage out of this, whatever good you want to say, and use it towards this Montreal Canadiens game, because I really do not want to be sitting here telling stories of back in the day, trying to cope after a loss to the Canadiens, which just seems to be scheduled twice a year on my calendar. So, friends, that'll do it for me. I hope you get some of the finer points of what I was trying to achieve in this video. Again, it's not all doom and gloom like maybe I'm portraying it. But this was painful. Let's not do this again, okay? Next time we go out east, let's try a little harder. That's all I could say. And like I said, in closing, if I had audio to tonight's game, maybe I understand it completely different. But what I watched tonight is the Oilers win despite doing nothing in an entire game to really deserve the win. This is where the Ottawa Senators are bad. The Oilers have been real bad on a 5-game road trip. And I use the term sometimes struggle fest. I feel like this was a struggle fest, and it only came up the Oilers' way because overtime. The Oilers are pretty good there. 3-on-3, 4-on-3 in the overtime. I like our odds. Even after a really bad game, I like our odds. Kind of frustrating we didn't win that Calgary game, but Dustin Wolf, what do you do? He was going to have a Vezina season, and the Calgary Flames are 1 in a bajillion, so might have cursed them on that one. Just going to say, I might have done that one for us there. Flames fans, I did not do you any favors in the postgame following the Flames-Oilers game, and Dustin Wolf's the world's worst goalie, is part of the world's worst team right now. What do you do? Sorry. Stuff happens. Friends, have yourself a great night. I obviously have not gotten enough time to talk to a camera in the last few days. Maybe the Blue Jays, they won Game 7 last night. Let's have a moment for that. Yeah, we're going to the World Series here. Friday's going to be an absolute electric show. Can't wait, friends. At least you have that to look forward to after we lose to the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday. For right now, though, I am up on out of here.